All right, thanks, guys. We're coming off another really nice underdog win on Patreon yesterday. That's going to put us at 36-20 in our last 56 underdog plays on Patreon. That's 64.3%. That's a lot of sweet plus money. So check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where you can get a lot of underdog winners. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hop into our Thursday slate of baseball games. It's somewhat of an abbreviated slate of MLB action, but we still got some pretty good ones. So let's go ahead and get into it, beginning with the Indians taking on the Tigers, 1:10 Eastern first pitch in Detroit. The Indians are minus 260, totals 8.5. We did see a 30-cent move toward Cleveland and movement downward on the total. The Indians open 230 up to 260. Total open 9 down to 8.5. 73% are leaning Cleveland, 66% shaded toward the under. Right now the Tigers are plus 225 on the money line. The Indians minus $1.40 on the run line. We have Mike Clevenger for the Indians, Daniel Norris for the Tigers. Norris is 3-10 with a 4.70 ERA and a 1.39 WHIP. Clevenger on the other side is 9-2 with a 3.00 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. Now, Detroit is the worst team in Major League Baseball. The Indians are first in runs allowed on the road. And when it comes to the total, the Tigers are 5-1 to the over in their last 6. I'm going to lean Cleveland minus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Athletics, Royals, 115, Kansas City. The A's are minus 200, totals at 10. We saw a 25-cent move toward Oakland and movement downward on the total. The A's open 175 up to minus 200. Total open 10.5 down to 10 flat. 69% of the consensus is leaning toward Oakland, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, KC is plus 180 on the money line. The A's minus $1.25 on the run line. We have Chris Bassett for the A's, Glenn Sparkman for the Royals. Sparkman's 3-9 with a 5.52 ERA and a 1.45 WHIP. Bassett's 9-5 with a 3.59 ERA for Oakland. He also comes into this game with a 1.18 WHIP. The Royals have the third most losses in the American League. They're actually 40 games under 500 right now. They're just 47-87 overall for the year. Now, Oakland, on the other side, they're a game ahead of Tampa Bay for that second wild card spot in the American League right now. They're 9-4 in their last 13. They're also fifth in road scoring, 38-25 ATS away from home. And, of course, when I refer to ATS against the spread, covering, the number, all that good stuff, I'm actually referring to the run line. So, once again, Oakland, 35-28 ATS away from home. And when it comes to the total, the Royals are 10-4 to the under in their last 14. So, with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Athletics minus 1.5. and the under 10 runs in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for, is it Thursday or Wednesday? I can't even keep up. I think it's Thursday. Thursday's Major League Baseball action. But before we go ahead and dive into some more of that, just want to quickly, once again, remind you, just check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. You will not regret it, especially if you are locked into the Dog of the Day package. We're 36-20 in our last 56 underdog plays. That's nearly 65% over a huge sample size. That's over the past couple of months. And that is sweet plus money. So anyway, check me out, patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site. Those are my personal plays. Those are games that I have action on personally when I bet online. I got to be honest with you, I don't bet really ever in brick and mortars. Every once in a while I'll get a ticket. But I like to do most of my action online, on the phone. But anyway, daily plays on that site, $1.99 per month is where we start at. We have different levels that you could subscribe to. Link for that site is in the description section below, and there's plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. If you inquire, if you have an inquisitive mind, you can see how I'm doing in all my different memberships and tiers. All right, that is enough. That was a long-winded commercial. Let's go ahead and move on and get back into some more lines of personal leans out for Wednesday or Thursday's action. I forget what day it is. I think it's Thursday. But anyway, we're going to slide into our next matchup. and that's going to be the Twins taking on the White Sox, 2:10 Eastern first pitch at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. The Twins are minus 185, totals at 10. We saw a 10-cent move toward Minnesota and movement upward on the total. Minnesota open 175 up to 185. Total open 9.5 up to 10. 66% are leaning Twins, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now the White Sox are plus 175 on the money line. The Twins minus $1.15 on the run line. Now we have Jose Barrios for the Twins, Dylan Cease for the White Sox. Cease is 3-6 with a 5.76 ERA and a 1.48 WHIP. Barrios on the other side, 10-7. On the year, 3.53 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. He also has punched out 155 batters thus far in the year. Now, the White Sox have dropped 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're ranked 28th in scoring, 25th in striking batters. 25th in striking batters out. Yeah, they don't strike out a whole lot of opponents. So once again, White Sox losers in 3 out of their last 4, 28th in scoring, 25th in striking batters out. The Twins on the other side, 2nd in road scoring, 1st in road hits. They are 3.5 games ahead of Cleveland for first place in the AL Central. Now total-wise, the Twins are 38-26 to the over on the road. I'm going to lean Minnesota Twins minus $1.85 and the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rays, Astros, 2:10 Houston. And of course, this is a game of interest, but it's currently off the board. No line currently posted for this game. We have Zach Greinke for the Astros. It looks like probably Andrew Kittredge for the Rays. That's not confirmed, but that's what it looks like. A couple different sources are listing him as the probable. But regardless of who Tampa Bay throws out there, Zach Greinke is 14-4 on the year for the Astros, 2.83 ERA, 150 strikeouts on the year. So with all that said and done, I think Houston should get the job done at home. Give me the Astros winning that game outright for some money line cash. All right, next matchup, we have the Cubbies taking on the Mets, 7:10 Flushing, Queens. The Mets are the $2 favorite in this one, minus 200 on the money line, total 9.5. Now, we saw a 25-cent move toward the Mets in the early wagering. My flash sale doesn't work, by the way. Yeah, I logged on this morning. Not working. I'm very surprised at that. And the email didn't deploy either.
What?
The email that was supposed to deploy at 6, that didn't deploy either. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. So, anyway, just talking about my real life job, which is horrible. Makes me want to cry. But anyway, what makes me want to cry with joy is all these winners that we are about to pick here today. So let me get back into this. As I was up at 4 a.m. Checking my work that my coworkers destroyed at my e-commerce real job in real life. So anyway, let's start over again. The Chicago Cubs are 2.5 games ahead of Philadelphia for that second wild card spot. You know what? Let's just start completely over again. Cubs, Mets, 7:10 Flushing, Queens. I'm all pissed off now. The Mets are minus 200. Total's 9.5. 66% are leaning Mets. 55% shaded toward the over. The Cubs are plus 180 on the money line. The Mets are plus 115 on the run line. We have Big John Lester for the Cubs. Jake DeGrom for the Mets. Lester's 10-9 on the year. 134 strikeouts. The Cubbies are 2 games ahead of Philadelphia for that second wildcard spot in the National League. If the season ended right now, Chicago would be in the tournament. They're also 10 games over 500 right now, 71-61 overall for the year. I know that Lamar Bowe had Chicago in a nice little prop to make the playoffs. I think he booked that about a month ago for some really nice plus money, and that was a pretty good call on his part because things keep going the way they are. It looks like the Cubbies should get in. But speaking of the Cubs, 13-3 in their last 16 taking on the Mets. They're also 8th in offensive walks, 7th in runs allowed on average per game. Now, the Mets have dropped their last 5 straight. They were red hot there for a while, but they're 0-5 in their last 5 ball games. They're also 29-34 ATS in Flushing, Queens. They rank 22nd in home hits. Now, total-wise, the Mets are 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Chicago's 80% to the under in their last 5. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lead toward the road dog in this one. Give me the Cubs plus 1.5 and the under 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Reds, Marlins, 7-10 Miami. The Reds are minus 150, totals 8.5. We have Alex Wood for the Reds, Robert Duggar for the Marlins. Robert Duggar. Robert Hacksaw Jim Duggar. But anyway, Alex Wood for the Reds, not all that great. Just 1-3 on the year, 6.07 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Cincy is just 26-38 on the road this year. They rank 23rd in road scoring, 25th in road offensive walks. Now the Marlins, believe it or not, they rank 7th in hits allowed on average per game. They're also 4-2 to the over in their last 6, 12-3 to the over in their last 15 in Miami. Now the Reds are 80% to the over in their last 5 themselves. So I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Mariners, Rangers, 8:05 Texas. The Rangers are minus 175, totals 10.5. We saw a nickel move toward Texas and movement upward on the total. The Rangers open 170 up to 175. Total open 10 up to 10.5. 67% are leaning Rangers, 69% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Mariners are plus 165 on the money line. The Rangers plus $1.10 on the run line, as we have a medley of of alarms going off right now. It is early in the morning. We're looking around a little bit after 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But anyway, we have Felix Hernandez for the Mariners, Lance Lynn for the Rangers. Lynn comes into this game with a 14-9 record, 3.85 ERA. He's punched out 197 batters thus far. He's approaching 200 strikeouts for the year. Felix Hernandez on the other side, he is not approaching 200 strikeouts on the year. He's just 1-4 for the Mariners, 6.09 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. The Rangers are 38-27 at home, 5-1 in their last 6 at home, taking on Seattle. The Rangers are also 22-16 when favored. They rank 4th in home scoring, 7th in home hits. The Mariners, on their side of things, losers in 4 out of their last 5. They're just 27-38 away from home, 28th in offensive strikeouts. And when it comes to the total, the Mariners are 6-3 to the over in their last 9. The Rangers 12-6 to the over in their last 18. Pretty expensive price point, but I'm going to lay it. Give me the Rangers minus $1.75 and the over 10.5 runs in that matchup there. Next